Take 'em uptown. Take 'em uptown.
Yep, 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 yep.
Take 'em uptown. Take 'em uptown.
Here we go now.
Take 'em up. Take 'em uptown. Take 'em uptown.
All right, here we go.
Take 'em uptown. Take 'em up. Take 'em up. Take 'em uptown.
Once again, it's that time again. It's the Tango and Cash show. Let's work. Yep, yep. Yeah, okay. We got a special guest coming in real soon. It's the Tango and Cash show. What's good, y'all? 1879. What's going on? What's that, El Dorado? You saying nasty stuff. We got a goodie coming up. Welcome, Juan Jose. Main event is in the building. Yep. Waiting for the main. He is in the building. Hey, what's going on, baby?
What's good, bro? How you,
I'm good. You know how I get down, man. I smile when I'm not happy, man. You know?
You already know, bro.
So how's it going, man?
Everything good, man. You know, staying in motion, shaking the bacon, trying to stay corona free. You know?
For real, that's real talk. If I heard any real talk today, that's what's happening in the world.
How's the lighting? Your lighting good? My lighting good? Or?
Yeah, I'm good. You good. You good. You're a little dark. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know, you're a handsome dude.
No, let me figure this out, man.
Okay, go ahead. Take your time, man. Take your time. Take your time. Word up. Like to welcome everybody out while my boy, my main man, I should say, excuse me. The main event is in the building.
Yeah, we get it like this, Adam.
Can you the volume up just a little bit?
My volume?
Yeah.
I noticed when let me go back out and come back. I know that it was loud when I first came on the joint. Let me go back. I got you. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Like I said, welcome everybody. The main event. He went out. He's coming right back in. And we got some real interesting stuff we're going to talk about this evening on the Tango and Cash show. Word up. Hey, sexy. What's going on? Welcome to the Tango and Cash show. Word up. Waiting for main event to send that request back. How y'all doing out there? All right, here you come. Okay. All right. As the people join in. What's going on, man?
Is that better?
Yeah. As long as they can hear you, I can hear you. After
Can y'all hear me?
His wife, he's in the building.
Yeah.
So, yo, man, let's get right to it. Matter of fact, we're going to ease into it. I'm going to start off with you a little different this evening. You do a lot of positive things in your community. You know what I'm saying? And like as I do these interviews, I'm learning more and more about the guys that, you know, I had an opportunity to see play on the world's famous EBC Rucker Park. And yo, for real, let's just talk about the stuff you have done out there in Jersey first. Let's just start off a little bit.
You know, at an early age, I'm just transitioning to my backyard. That's all. Hold on one second.
Okay, that's cool.
Like far as the community stuff, you know, a lot of people, when I went to Rutgers, a lot of people was, you know, going for what they call that? Communications. So okay. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do the communication thing. I wanted to go for sociology. So once I found out what sociology mean, dealing with social aspects in life, and then watching my grandmother, you know, be a pillar in the community, right away I cared about the community. You know what I mean? So that's how I got involved with that.
Right, right, right. And you know what's crazy is, like, I mean, we know each other, but we don't know each other really on the personal level. In the sense that, far as like, okay, I didn't see 1,000 ball players come through the park. A lot of them were street orientated, straight from out, they block doing their thing, getting that street money. But I mean, you always gave me that impression that you wasn't into that type of life. Like, okay, your friends, we all have associates that did what they had to do to get that paper, but you never gave me that impression. You always been a stand-up type of guy. I mean, okay, your personality definitely changed once you get on that court. You understand? You transform into this beast. But like Jersey, Harlem, have you really hung out in Harlem besides playing ball?
Oh, definitely. But I want to go back on something that you said a few minutes ago. That's like the difference now and how it was back in the day. My circle, which is mostly 90% my cousins, they was doing their thing in the streets, but they kept me away from that stuff. I didn't need the money. I had the cars and all that. They had the 190 Benzes and Seville. So nowadays it seemed like we're not protecting who they could say that a lot of people say could get us out of the community or get us out of a situation. We're not being protected. So we got to get back to protecting, especially our athletes, our scholars as well. So on that aspect of it, I'll just say my circle protected me, but I wasn't no angel. I just had limits of how far and what I always wanted to portray of who I am. And I always gave, who I am 99.9% of the time. So a lot of things, if I was involved with it, nobody would see it. I don't condone it, but I'm going to just say I wasn't no angel. But my circle, my team, we call it Nautica, they protected me from that lifestyle.
Okay, that's what's up. So how did you get involved with Mousy? How did Mousy recruit you? I mean, you was all the way in New Jersey, bro. Like, he brought you up to the park, and like I said, you transformed into this beast.
I met Mousy. It's kind of weird. Like now, how you play for an AAU team, the coach will tell you, you can't play for no other teams, this, that, and the third. But my cousin, Brian Crawford, ran an organization at AAU called the North Rams. And the North Rams played against the Gauchos in Trenton, I believe it was. And Lou Aldemeda came up to him, was like, yo, the Twins and them was there. They was like, yo, we want him to play for us. Excuse me. And Brian was like, no problem. And it's crazy because I asked Brian, I get to that. I asked him, though, why did you let me play with the Gauchos? So I started playing with the Gauchos. My team was Felipe Lopez, Mo Brown, Stephon Marbury, Tyler Brown. We had a crazy team, Okay. Stefano was maybe like 2 years younger. And I was coming from a Gaucho practice, and this little Spanish guy came up to me. It was me and my dad. He came up to me. He was like, yo, you ever heard of the Rucker? You want to play at the Rucker? And I was like, I heard about it, but I really didn't know what it was,
Right.
And he came to my house because at the time it was me and Roderick Rhodes he was picking up. So he would go pick me up, then we'd pick Roderick Rhodes up. But before I was able to go, being a younger sibling, my mom was overprotective, and my grandmother, especially my sister Gloria. When he came, I remember Jordan was about 3 years old, 4 years old. He come in the house, and my mother drilling him and was like, well, you taking my baby to New York, and who are you, and what do you do? And he was like, well, my name is Mousy, and anything I'm involved with, your son will be okay, and blah, 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 blah. So by him being honest, my mom was like, you know what? And my sister was like, oh, okay, well, this and that and that and that. She let me go with him. And, Mousy is the one who introduced me to a whole different street ball culture than I was used to growing up in Jersey, growing up in South Carolina as well. It was a little bit different playing out in the city. I played in all the tournaments in Jersey throughout, but it was nothing like Rucker Park. Nothing like Rucker Park. So all of that go-to Mousy that let me get an opportunity to play on his team. At that time, it was Mousie's dream team.
Oh, okay. Yo, I'm just laughing because Kareem Reed put a post up. He said he told you Kareem Reed was going to throw you an alley-oop. Yo, that's funny. What's up, Reed? Best kept
Yeah, Reem,
secret
yo,
in the building.
Reem was out, man. Reem, though, we got some stories, man. But Reem was one of the youngest ones, and Mousy would just always be like, yo, can't nothing happen to him. You know, out of everybody, he cared about everybody, but him and Reem had that, like, father-son, big bro, little bro relationship. And then I slid right in there as, you know, Mouse little bro, and then now Reem is my little bro, and we could go on and on. But the whole thing was to keep Reem focused. And the same thing where Mousy kept Reem away from whoever was doing X, Y, and Z, he kept him close to him. And I wound up spending a lot of time out in New York City, 143rd and St. Nick, you know. So shout out to Reem, shout out to Mousy for the opportunity. And it's just so many different stories, but I'm pretty sure we're going to touch on some of them.
Oh, yeah. So, like, we had a phone conversation, and, like, you said some things to me, what was that, last week? And I was like, damn, yo, like, can we save it for the show? You know what I mean?
Sure.
And,
Let's go.
you know, let's just touch on, before we go back to Rucker Park, let's touch on that and one situation, because that was a very, very interesting story. And the whole thing is, people don't know the real deal about that and one situation, and you definitely enlightened me with a lot of information. So let's talk about that, man.
I'm gonna break it down because a lot of people get like confused with what's going on. So I'm gonna just try to give it to you a different way. And if you want a different way, I can give it to you that way too. But I'm gonna try and make it as simple as possible. Let's say we got a pyramid, right? And we started from the top of the pyramid and then it trickles down. So the way that I would put the pyramid, Greg Marius, God rest him. I have Greg Marius at the top of that pyramid, right? Then I would have Ron DeClario, Skip to Malou. Then I would have, I got to put Mousy in there, and then I put myself. Then I put Set Free. Then I put the players who I brought on, Shane the Dribble Machine, Half Man, Half Amazing, Aircraft, Future, and then Headache came.
Okay.
And the reason why I have to put it like that is because Greg Marius had the platform where, if people remember the Riverbank game, he had some ties. I don't know as far as contract-wise or whatever it was, but I know that we had our T-shirts had a generic and one T-shirt.
Right.
And from that game, Greg always took a team to Virginia Beach, 4th of July weekend.
Right.
And he invited me to come to that game. I came out there, and it's crazy because the camera guys wanted to see the Black Widow, you know, Harlem's GOAT, God rest him, you know, and Ali Mo didn't show up for whatever reason. So the camera guys was taking the cameras down, and Greg was like, yo, you should see this cat main event. I did something in the lab line. The camera's going back up. And that's why I met and one. That's why when I do my pyramid, I have to add Greg right there because Greg gave me the opportunity. Mousy, I put myself next to Mousy because Mousy was the one who introduced me to Rucker Park. I have to put Ron DeClario and Ray for Skip to Malou, my bro. I had to put him because he actually opened the door for the mixtape, which I took the mixtape and created it into a tour. So we'll get on that. But when you break it down like that, and then and one came to me and was like, yo, you know, we just got the Skip to Malou tape out. We want to do a volume 2 with all your highlights, and we want you to be on the premier guy on volume 2. So I was like, yo, that's crazy. And from where I came from at the time, the things I was going through, got recruited by almost every D1 school. I wound up going to Rutgers University. And the reason why I went to Rutgers University, I was telling you, because my name is Arabic, Wali, W-A-L-I-Y-Y, and that means love and protected by the Creator. So a lot of people would get my name spelled wrong. So I told my mom, I said, listen, if these schools can't spell my name right, they really don't care. So a lot of schools I turned down. My final schools was Rutgers, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Pitt.
Okay.
Turned it down, went to Rutgers because Rutgers was there from day one. They spelled my name right, and they was in Jersey. So now go from that right there. I was hungry. I wanted to play, you know. My mayor at the time, his name was John T. Gregorio. So let's say that Friday, I went to him and said, I need to get a job. I meet Ann One down in Virginia Beach. They told me, they was like, yo, we want you to be on volume 2. So I thought about it. I said, damn. And at the time, I'm like 25 years old, 26. I said, that'd be nice. And I don't mind opening the doors up for other players. I don't mind that. But I
Right.
thought about it and I was like, wait a minute. If I get them all my highlights, I'm just going to be good as my last move. And then the next one will be about somebody else.
Right.
So I hit them back and I was dealing with Set Free and a guy named JR. And JR, I told him, I said, listen, I said, I could get 5 of the best street ballers in the world that's not in the NBA to represent and promote your brand. So right there, it was more of a marketing side versus the ball side. And I don't think they ever thought that was going to come out my mouth. So they was like, yo, you
Right.
really could get these guys? You could get these guys? I said, yeah. So I called the first person I called Shane. Shane called Future. We called Half called Aircraft. And like I said, Headache came a little later on.
Right.
And that's basically how it went down with that whole and one thing.
Wow. That's incredible. But all right, so I know for a fact that t-shirt situation, the finances that we're talking about the game up at Riverbank.
Yes.
Greg didn't have the money. So they offered us the t-shirts because they was a apparel company and they was looking to promote their brand. And they brand from that day became a multi-million-dollar company.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they had brought me and Duke on for a game down at on 66th Street, Hunter College.
Hunter College, where most definitely was there. Hunter College.
Right. And we did the game, and that's the only time that I can recall meeting Set Free, because like even till today, I didn't know the role that he really played, because I know he was on the mic trying to do what he do. But you guys mentioned me and Duke, and I kind of like the story's kind of crazy. Duke said it one way, and I say it another way. But I remember being in the stands in Rucker Park, and Mike came up to Duke, and he was talking, like, yo, and one's interested in y'all, this and that, this and that, this and that. But I mean, being honest, I was good. You understand? And I didn't see where that was going. I was a dad, single dad, bringing up kids. So I really didn't jump on the opportunity. And then I heard about the paper they was given, and it wasn't worth my while. You understand what I'm saying? And I mean, from that point, and one blew up. A lot of hate went towards my partner, but he had to do what he had to do. And from my understanding, like I spoke to Shane, I'm gonna have Shane on the show also. And the professor, guys way after, the original crew. And they just told me stories about, Duke, and how, we have that reputation of when we do play by play, we put that battery in your back. You understand? And
No
just
doubt.
help you become, more than what it is. Like I have had people say, yo, thank you. And I'm like, thank you for what? Yo, you hyped me up, man. Yo, I did something that I didn't think I can do. And, that's always like touching. People call me a legend, and I'm like, I'm still confused. I say it every show, anytime I interview a ball player, but, getting back to you, do you remember the first time you got your nickname?
I tell a story. My first I want to say maybe 1 or 2 years, y'all was calling me the kid from across the water, Wawa.
Okay.
Then it went from Wawa to the coming attraction.
Okay.
And then I remember when, what's his name, from Richie Adams, we was playing against Richie Adams and them, and he threw the ball in from underneath the basket. And I came in, I intercepted the ball at half court. I remember doing a 360, he stepped in, and y'all stopped the game, and Duke Tango was like, yo, we calling him the main event. And that's what stuck from that day. But it took me like almost 4 years or 5 years to get that name, main event.
Right. Okay. So, okay, now, excuse me. You have the name main event. Do you think that name, I mean, what does that name mean to you? Like, where did that name take you?
See, coming from Jersey, like we didn't really know about it. We got our legends around here, but you gotta remember, Tango, Cash, like over 20 years ago, somebody being a street ball legend, that would mean that they wasted their talents. So we didn't play the game for a name. We didn't know about, you could be a legend one day. Because that was the last thing I would want somebody to say, yo, you're going to be a legend one day, a street ball legend. Like that's like now, like it's like a diss almost 20 years ago. So when I came to Rucker at 15 years old, I was just playing. I had to learn how to play basketball, number one. I was what they call a late bloom. I got cut in 6th grade. I got cut 7th grade. And I thought I was going to be a shoo-in because my aunt, Deborah Dixon, was the principal at Grover Cleveland in Elizabeth.
Okay.
So when I got cut 6th and 7th grade, I'm like, oh, it's crazy. So I went down south. My cousins, they had me on it was grass at first, and then it was just dirt, and with my first actual coach was my godbrother, Tyrone Givens, and then Brian Crawford, they taught me. But at that point, I'm like, hold up. When I go on this court, because I played almost every sport, when I got on that court, I said I'm going to always give my all. No matter what, people going to remember, yo, that kid right there from Jersey, or that kid number whatever. I really wasn't concerned about the name part. But once I stepped foot on that Rucker court, now I'm doing my history about the Rucker court. A lot of the legends and greats came from Rucker. Like, y'all are like the Dick Vitales of this. If you say he or she should go to the NBA, they 90% going to go to the NBA. So now I'm looking at the whole thing at every aspect of it, not just that ride I'm coming from Jersey. I'm just looking at the whole dynamics of it. It was totally different for a kid. I'm just a kid. I'm a baby. I tell you, Richie Adams, these guys much older than me. I was young. And Mousy had a team where he always had the up-and-coming talent. Like everybody probably was a All-American, could go to any AAU team, Gauchos, whether it was King, the other ones, our rivalries, Riverside, the team from Boston, anywhere, and play and dominate on that team. So it's just a different feeling out there. It's like the Apollo. It's like, you could feel a crowd breathing on you. You could smell the aromas in the air. You could look out the peripheral of your eye and see Al dancing. Like Cisco Al, and it's just so much going on. You got cats coming there smelling Willie burgers. They eating some burgers. You got the jokers on the crates where they made a stage. They got there like 2, 3. So I'm looking at all this and I'm sinking all this in like, yo, this right here is an experience I never had before, so I have to go out here, even as Wawa, the kid from across the water, and show them, like my game was a physical type game, and God blessed me to be able to jump and maneuver and do different things to where, I wanted to keep the crowd coming back. I wanted my name to be for people to remember me, not more saying that I'm playing to become a legend, I'm playing to get a name. And coming through that Rucker Park, EBC, it comes with the territory because I seen a lot of guys come out there and didn't get a name. I seen a lot of guys come out there and never came back. I seen A1 artists perform, throwing their CDs out and the crowd throwing it back to them. You know what I'm saying? So you had to be very special. It didn't matter whether you was an NBA guy or NCAA guy. When you go on that Rucker court, it's what you're going to do right then and there.
That's deep. Like you were there. It's no way. Like, damn. So okay. I'm gonna get to about that jumping ability that you got. But before I get to that, can you recall maybe one of the toughest games you ever played in EBC?
See, I think all of them was tough because I'm gonna put you on something. You gotta remember. Before the games, we would go to, Mouse would take us to this emporium where they had like a beer warehouse or whatever. So we would have our coolers with the waters and the beers and stuff. But we also made another stop at Olaf's. And he would always get our new uniforms, jerseys, T-shirts for the crowd. So do you remember the rule that they had? Now, I don't know if they did this rule because of us, but every minute that you was late, it was 1 point the other team would get. So we would start a lot of those games off down by 12, down by 15, and win by 20. I
remember that.
So Mouse demanded that we played everybody like it's our last game. But when you want to talk
Right.
about players like playing against Black Mo, and he just was out here in my neighborhood last week, Black Mo, and it's so many guys. Because remember, I'm not from Harlem, I'm not from New York, so to me, I'm treating everybody the same, and I'm
Right.
expecting the same from everybody. So for me, every game was tough. I can't say, oh, I went to Rutgers, it was just a blowout. Maybe the points was a blowout, but I didn't know it was going to be like that. I knew I had to do what Mousy had me on that team to do, and that was to bring the camaraderie, young leader, because I spent a lot of time with Mouse off the court. So
Okay.
it's just when we on that court, he expected certain things from individuals, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So
Going a little in and
every
out.
game was tough. Every game to me was tough. Every game.
Okay. All right. So, what was your most spectacular dunk? Because you had a couple of them. Like, I had a favorite one. I think. Well, let me hear yours first, and then I'll tell you the one that I recall.
Mouse could co-sign this. I forget what year it was, but I was coming down the street where the stores is at.
Right.
And I came down. I was on a break. I threw the ball up a little bit like a lob and went through my legs and dunked it. This before anybody was doing that. Nobody was doing that dunk. No J.R. Ryder, nobody. And Mouse reminded me about that. I was like, yo. And to me, that was my first time doing it and my last time doing it. It's just that adrenaline. And I never forget, I threw it up, boom, jumped, caught it, dunked it with the left hand. To me, that was on top of that was one of my most spectaculars, but I was a game dunker. So the unexpected was one of my best dunks, which was a whole bunch of them. I never said to my mind, yo, if I get on the break, I'm gonna do this. I liked it when somebody jumped. I liked it when I was challenged because now I could use my creativity and do something to where I might not be able to do again. It's just how you jumped with me, and I'm gonna show you why I'm the main event or why I'm the coming attraction.
Right. And that's funny. That dunk between the legs. That's the one I was going to talk about because that was crazy. And like your hang time, like your jumping abilities, I have seen some legends even before you. Like they had a guy named Artie Green, and they called him anti-gravity. If I'm
Oh, no
saying the
doubt.
name right,
No doubt.
and
Anti-gravity.
you definitely in the top 3 dunkers.
I
As
appreciate
far
that,
as
man.
having jumping abilities and
Coming from you,
hang
I
time.
appreciate that. Appreciate that.
It's real talk. It's real talk. I mean, like I look at footage and I'm like, damn. Like, my son-in-law Al, he reminds me about a lot of games you played in, and when he was young, and he was like, yo, main event, he be having me laughing, and it's just crazy, like the stuff that you have done out there, man.
My dad would tell me sometime when I'm walking, he would tell me, yo, just jump in the air and I'm young doing this. He'd be like, yo, just jump in the air and just try to see how long you can stay in the air. I didn't know because my background, my mom was a model, my dad was a boxer, so my household, you had to learn how to box and do martial arts because my uncle was like crazy degrees and black belt of martial arts, but he would tell me if I'm just walking from school, just jump in the air and see how long you can stay. So I think that kind of helped me with my hang time. Now you got a basketball now. So it was really easy for me and then I like to do, if I'm coming down and I hit chest with you, my mind would just tell me spin, do a 360 and lay it up. I know you see me do that a couple of times. Like that was just in a moment of the game, I didn't sit around practicing 360 layups. You know what I mean?
Right. And far as and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I have to ask this question.
Yeah.
As far as point guards giving you the ball, who was one of your favorites? I'll do it like that way. One of your favorites. I won't say your favorite.
I gotta go with definitely best kept secret, Kareem Reed. Now I don't want to get this wrong. God rest Dave. I know it was either Dave Edwards or Dave Kane that played with us with Bad Boy. I mean with Mousie's Dream Team or with Mousie's Dream Team. I forget which one it was, but I never forget that. And then of course Shane Dribble Machine. I remember the game. Mousie had him on the bench, and I'm like, all right, and I ain't know Shane. So Shane comes in the game and he threw it like from half court. I'm like, yo, I think I called a timeout or so. I was like, yo, why wasn't he in the game? And, at the time, I think Future was on our team, I think, and Mousy had his, I don't want to say his favorites, but Mousy is like a loyalty. Like Mousy's big thing is about loyalty. And we're going to get to something I want to tell you about that. So I understood when Shane left, but I was like, oh my God, like this cat, like he ain't even looking at me. And I'm just, man, the things that me and him was able to do over the years was incredible. But I got to tell you this though, Cash. Mousy would have me playing in so many different other tournaments. That's when I'm like, hold up. They calling me the coming attraction over here. Oh, they calling me the main event. Wait a minute. He would have me playing in a joint called Peligre. Mousy had me in Soul in the Hole. Mousy had me in Kingdom. Mousy had me in Dykeman. Mousy had me playing in the money tournaments. I never forget this, but I think it was like 20,000. And the lights had went out. This when everybody had those Saharas and those Wrangler Jeeps. Mousy had everybody pull their Jeeps towards the park, put their high beams on because we had to finish that game because it was a money game, So by the time I came to Rucker, man, it's like Rucker. I noticed that Rucker was the main stage. Like that's where you have to perform. So when you talk about guards, I had Curry the controller. But the standout was the ones who were just like that chemistry is like, yo, I tell them, just throw the ball anywhere near the rim, man, or throw it anywhere around that area. I get it. You know what I mean? Wow. We both gonna look good. So all the guards was like just crazy,
Yeah, that's crazy. And you mentioned like a lot of people forgot about my boy Terry. You know what I'm saying? The natural controller. Curry. I said Terry.
Hit you with that. Dave, what's his name? Dave that went to what you call it? Dave Kane behind the back. What's his name? I ain't saying the right name. He played for Georgia Tech, I think. Who played with Georgia Tech?
Wow.
A point guard.
Dorian will tell us in a minute.
Curry had that behind the back, crossover, yo. Oh man, I can see him doing it right now, yo. Oh man, bringing back memories, man.
Yeah. The GOAT, yo, he definitely used to do his thing. But you said you wanted to touch on something about Mousy. Talk about
with loyalty. I always told Mousy like, yo, because I tell you, we did a lot off the court and did a lot on the court, and I'll leave it at that. But as I'm young, so by the time I get my license, people from the neighborhood from Mousy Block is like, yo, Mouse love you, bro. I'm like, hold up, people. They like, yo, Mouse love you. I said, yo, why you say that? He was like, yo, he don't let nobody hold his cards. And you be at Jersey overnight, this, that, and the third. And I always told Mousy, I said, yo, Mouse, I never play for any other team unless I was to get my own team. Do you remember when I had my own team and my sponsor was Carl Kanai?
Wow. Yo, I didn't know. Be honest, I don't remember that, but I remember Carl Kanai.
All right, check this out. We made it to the semifinals, and the dude, brother Arthur, tried to take over the team. And I was like, nah, where was you at up until this point? So I quit. I had Headache. It was me, Headache. I had Jerry Walker. I had a couple of Jersey guys. I had, is that the year Mace played for me? I think I had Mace on my team. We had a nice little crew. But he wanted to come in and intervene. I had my own budget. I was doing my thing. And Mousy respected that because I told him when I was young, I said, I would never play for nobody else. And I got to big up Fat Joe. Okay. Fat Joe came to me one day and he was like, yo, I want you to play with us in Forest. And I was like, nah, Joe, I rock with this guy named Vinny. And he was like, yo, I got the bread right here, man. I said, I'm loyal to Vinny. And he was like, yo, Mouse always told me, yo, you're a loyal dude. Like, you're a loyal dude, you know what I mean? And that's just one thing that we was always about the loyalty, you know what I mean? So Mouse is definitely a loyal guy. If he can help you, he'll help you. He's not going to let you take advantage of him where people have tried to take advantage of him because he'll give you his shirt off his back, literally. He'll give you his shirt off his back. But that's one thing that to this day, our whole relationship was based off the loyalty from him being honest to my parents to him being honest with me, like, yo, bro, like, we going to be loyal. And that's the only time I ever had my own team was with Carl Kanai.
Wow. And, that's real deep about Mouse because I mean, Mousie's a character. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, you know, he kind of cleared it up a little bit over the years. Like he stayed mad at Greg, and he always told me about, yo, he gonna start his own tournament. He gonna do this, and yo, I'm gonna come get y'all. Y'all gonna go with me, and you saying that loyalty. Like again, I'm gonna say this to the end of the world. Like I'm one of the founders of the EBC, and
Wow.
Greg, like, see, let me explain something to you. What happened with Greg? Greg came to Harlem in 1975. Um,
I was 1 year old.
okay, and his sister used to go to school, so we knew his sister. Um, anyway, she introduced us to Greg, and we took Greg under our wing because we had a rap group called the Disco Four. We had a couple of joints out, and we had the biggest hip hop crew ever in Harlem, which was called the Sapphire Crew. So Greg actually took us off the block. Like you wouldn't believe, I lived in Harlem all my life and never went to Riverside Church.
What?
Yeah. That was crazy. Like Greg took us, and we didn't go there to play ball. We went there because they had this little thing upstairs, like an after school joint, where the team come and all the chicks was there. So that was like right up our alley. And like I said, we taught Greg the streets, and Greg kind of put us in the right direction, trying to point us in the right direction. Because we, like you said, we all got our street thing, and we were something else. So anyway, long story short, me and Greg was the only one in the group that played ball. You understand? So
you used to rap? You used to rap? Greg used to rap too, right?
Yeah. I used to DJ.
He's a DJ, okay.
Yeah. So Crash Crew started some bull, challenged us. We beat them like by 53 points. And then other crews start, wanted to play us. And that's when we took it to Mount Morris Park. So it was like a team effort at the beginning. And then, like I discovered Duke. You understand? Because I played ball. And we was at Chick Tournament, and Duke was rocking the mic. And we was talking to headphones, man. You know what I'm saying? But when Duke came, he just changed everything. And to this day, I'll admit it, I was Duke's babysitter. You understand? Because I know you and Duke had a little animosity in the past or whatever. He could be a tough type of dude. His reactions and you know what I'm saying? Busy B, what's good, baby?
Busy B. The homie right there.
Yeah. And, like a lot of people don't know that. Like I'm the only one, and I always say God looks out for me. I'm the only one alive that's the original founder of the EBC. Greg got all the credit, whatever, but I did what I did, Al Cash on the mic. And, together we put this whole thing together, and, I was a street dude. I wasn't business minded, and somebody had to be business minded. So Greg always had the front. But with that being said, it's like, I think about my homie every day. You understand? I'm doing this show just to keep us relevant. Let people know, let the young people know that, and real quick, Busy B was one of the first announcers too, in 139th Street. And I got to get on our documentary. Like a lot of people don't understand the hip hop aspect. The name of the tournament was the Entertainers Basketball Classic, and that all started from the original, I should say, the first generation of hip hop. You understand? A lot of people don't know that story, but when this documentary come out, the truth gonna be told. And it's funny, my nephew Duke's son just came on. Shout out to him, and he know how his dad is. You know. So, but nah, I just wanted to just throw that in there. But okay, now let's get back to the main event. All right, so I asked the professor this, and I'm gonna ask you this: how was that paper with And One?
You gotta remember our first. You might not hear a lot of people talk about it, which I don't mind. But the first 5 games that we did, because I was like, yo, let's pick 5 major cities. We had a camera guy, we had a Yukon. They would pick a excursion for it. Had Set Free, his partner Q, the camera dude, no security, no nothing. And we picked the 5 cities. And let's say I meet you in Harlem. I'd be like, hey, bro, what's up? And we not even from the neighborhood. Yo, what's up, bro? How you doing? Yo, where they play ball at? You'd be like, oh, they be down at Rucker Park at 6 o'clock. Word. We'd go down there, and we took it back to the culture, the grassroots of it. Yo, we got next. And everybody looking at us like, what the heck is these guys? It's me, Headache. At this time it was Headache, Half, Aircraft, Future, Shane, just us 5. By the time we get done playing that game, yo, the whole neighborhood and community is out there. So I don't want to get it wrong, but it was either, for those 5 games, just on the weekend, we would do Friday, come back Monday, fly out, whatever. I think it was either 3,500 or 7,500. I don't want to be wrong.
Right.
And for me personally, I was over 6 figures once they started doing this thing, because every year would get bumped up, and then I'm starting to come to them. They're giving me a contract, I'm giving them a contract back. My agent, Eugene Napoleon, as a couple years went on. But what I tell a lot of people, Cash, though, this is what I tell a lot of people. A lot of people sit back and say, yo, you guys got jerked, this, that, and the third, right?
Right.
There was no blueprint. We did not invent street basketball. There was no blueprint that I could have went to and said, yo, it should be this way, it should be that way, it should be this way. So at the end of the day, tell me what street basketballs you know from the street basketball games that was making 6 figures for 3 months. 3 months. It's only May, June, July. So are you saying that, not saying you per se, but is people saying we got jerked? Because, yeah, when I met them, they were stuck at 20 million. 5 years later, they made 350 million. Are people saying we got jerked because of that? Or there's nowhere in the business model, they could give you incentives, but there's no way that says, oh, we make X amount, we're going to give you X amount. I knew that every year I was getting more money. Every year I was getting more money. My bonuses is going up. I'm making more money on the side. I'm doing my own thing. We're doing our own games. So when people say that, I just sit back and just be like, word, we got jerked. Okay. But know how I look at it is, we took some lumps for the future, man. Like we Mortars, we Martin, we Malcolm and them, you know what I mean? We the brother that just passed away. We them cats, we Rosa. And everybody else who was part of the freedom fight. I look at it like that. Like, yeah, I might have took some bruises, but guess what? By the time y'all got in this vehicle, because it was just a shell, we put rims on it, we put tin on it. It's up to y'all how far it's gonna go. So if I was in a position, I'm talking about myself, if I was in a position to take one for the culture, to where the next brother don't have to go through what I went through and he or she made more money, I don't care about that. You know why? Because I'm going to always create a lane. And when I create that lane, I don't want to be the only one on that lane. Right. And I'm willing to pull other people in. You know what I'm saying? So I laugh when people say that. You know what I mean? I laugh. With my family, we haven't missed no meals, bro. We do everything that we want to do. You know, we're health. It was a blessing. And you don't really take a loss unless you learn something. I learned so much. I learned so much playing with the Harlem Wizards, the Harlem Rockets. I learned so much like far as business stuff. And this was before the AN1 stuff. So I learned so much. So when people say, yo, you took an L, I be like, yo, in your eyes. But up here, I learned so much that I wanted to learn in school. I wanted to learn at the university. I learned hands-on about merchandise. I learned hands-on about analytics. I learned hands-on about, you know, looking at flyers when I was younger. You see a boxing match, but at the bottom of the boxing match, you see all these sponsors. You watch a TV show, you see all these commercials. So I'm learning all this stuff. It's 30-second commercials, it's 60-second commercials. These are the ones who's paying for the particular event. So I couldn't learn that. So to me, I would do it all over again.
No doubt. And it's funny because as you're talking, I'm thinking about the first generation of hip hop. And then Busy B wrote across the screen, that's how he feel about hip hop. Because I mean, honestly, being part of that, we didn't get paid. You understand? And we set the foundation, we built, and actually the guys later on got paid. Like, to be honest, like my nephew, right? His name is Digger Dow Branch. He produced Cam and them, Dipset. He's one of the founders of Dipset. Like, a lot of people don't know that Cam career started in my apartment in Esplanade Gardens. And what happens is I'm happy for that because what I didn't make, my nephew definitely made. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was better times to see people make money off of something that we helped create. You understand? For years, I was a little bitter or whatever. I mean, God bless the dead, Lovebug Starsky. Like, he was a beast about that. Like, he stayed angry because he didn't get what he thought he was worth. So listening to what you're saying, I respect that. You understand what I'm saying? I truly respect that because a lot of us from the first generation of hip hop, we made no money. Like if you hear Flash and them and all of them talking about they made money, it's absolutely false. You understand what I'm saying? That's BS. I mean, from tours and stuff, we got a couple of dollars, but we was under Enjoy Records at first. Then we went over to Profile Records, and we didn't really get no royalties. We didn't know anything about publishing or any of that stuff. Busy Bee stamped that. For me, it's like hip hop. Myself, B Fats, and Donald D, and we never get acknowledged to this day. We're the first DJs out of Harlem that did hip hop, and we don't get recognition to this day. It's always sound like a Bronx thing, but it was happening in Harlem too. We battled Flash, and I'm like, the history's crazy. And like I said, when the documentary dropped, a lot of this information is going to be told. But I respect what you were saying about how you set up and the next guys get paper and stuff like that, because I know behind the scenes Headache, try to get more money or something and try to get y'all, I can't say you, but the other guys to join him. And I was told that they seemed like Headache was going to be a problem, so they kind of cut Headache off. You understand?
It's how we had a fallout about that. It's like, man, when I went to And1 and had the opportunity and created and brought them basically like the format of it, the blueprint. But I was 26 years old, so it's all a learning and grooming process. It's how you have a group of people who look at they look at us and say, you know what? These are your ordinary jocks. Right. Not saying that was their intentions, but I think what they realize is that when you go into business, you have projections, 5-year business plan, 6-year business plan. And I think they started realizing that the guys is waking up. There's no business plan with the culture, bro. Ain't no business plan with this culture, man. Same thing with hip hop. There's no business plan with it. You understand? So I would throw things out there, and And1 always felt as though, and I say And1, I'm not breaking it down to this person. My thing is, whoever owns And1 right now, you get the good that came with it, you get the bad that came with it, because that's their thing. Right. Oh, it wasn't us. Guess what? Racist people that's in America, they'll say, oh, well, it wasn't us, but you benefited from it. So don't hit me with, oh, nah, it ain't us. I'm not getting into this person. No, you want to take that name, you're taking everything that comes with it. You're taking the good, you're taking the bad. So I would get him, I'm being back of the bus by choice and back of the bus, and I'd be like, yo, all the owners is there. I'd be like, yo, I never want to get to the point where I feel like I'm a paid slave. I would say that. And they started seeing how my dialogue is changing. And I'm like, their thing was, well, we're paying Maine the most. He should be quiet. But I would tell them, I'm not that guy. Because guess what? I'm hitting y'all with the business stuff, but I'm also still a player. So
Right.
I'm not that dude, man. I'm not that. You're not gonna paint my face because these are my brothers, man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And
And I'm not gonna say it was no racist stuff, but like I said, I never want to feel like I was a paid slave. Y'all
right.
think because
I
y'all
get it.
pay me that y'all could do X, Y, and Z? No, because guess what? Guess what, Cash? I'm
Mhm.
not gonna be the one responsible for the cats that came after us gonna get treated how we got treated. No way.
Right.
I'm gonna make
Right.
it
Now,
better. You know what I'm saying?
yo, yeah, I definitely get it. I I definitely get it. It kind of reminds me of when I did the voiceovers on what was that 2K6 and 2K7, that NBA thing. Um, like Greg tried to get these people to give me $500, and I was like, no way. I said, have them call me directly, and I caked them. You understand what I'm saying? So what I didn't know was that the second part, I didn't get paid as much because all they did was have me come in for another hour. I did the voiceovers and I got a couple of more $1,000. But
Mm-hmm.
when they heard 500, they was like, yo, bet. Outcast from EBC, Rucker Park. You know what I'm saying? But once I spoke to them, you understand what I'm saying? Because now I'm business minded. I'm not that young guy, loving the glory and the crowd and all that crazy stuff. Because at one time, that's what it was about. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I leave my job, I run up to Rucker Park, and can't wait to call the game. And then once I seen that money start generating, that's when Greg, he looked out, but I don't think we got what we were supposed to get. But the biggest mistake, and I'm going to preach this to every show. The young guys out there, when you come up with ideas, make sure you copyright your stuff, pattern your stuff, because
Start with an LLC, yep.
all the nicknames that we gave out, and all these guys that name production companies, businesses, and positive things, and making money off these names, yo, we made a mistake. You understand? Yo, right now, I would never have to work again in my life. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's so many. I'm talking about NBA players, regular street ball players. I mean, you guys started your own tour. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? And you use the names that me and Duke gave you. You understand? And I'm not mad at that at all,
Mm-hmm.
but I always say, just imagine if I had the business mind that I have now, how much money we could have made. You understand? So, it's crazy, man. And I'm not ranting or anything like that, but it's just that we having that general conversation, and it's crazy.
That's why
It's
they came up with
crazy.
the terminology culture vultures, because at the end of the day, we could spew an idea out, but you have people that's in position that could bring this to light. So, sometimes, like, I'm gonna give you an example. Sometimes that middleman, let's say, okay, let's be like, okay, like, let's say it's me and you my man, but Mountain Dew was like, yo, we want Al Cash, right? And
Right.
I'd be like, yo, Al Cash, I'm never gonna be able to come to you with a number. I'm gonna say, yo, Al, how much you want to do X, Y, and Z? And you'd be like, yo, I want 10,000. All right, boom, Mountain Dew. Al Cash want 15,000. But I'm gonna let you know that I got 5. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not gonna come back and be like, nah, we don't want to do it for the 15, but we'll do it for the 10. And I come back to you and say, yo, Al, they don't want to do it. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes the middleman could be the one who could put you in a position because they're not getting whatever. But if that's your man or that's your agent or whomever or your manager, he's supposed to be in your best interest. Like Set Free, that's my man. Set Free is a hell of a middleman. You understand?
Okay.
That's my
He's a
dude.
bridge to help cross. Okay.
Yes, he know how to put stuff together, this, that, and the third. And what his thing is, I'm starting to get off target, but his thing is that, and you heard when I did my pyramid, I put myself next to him, right?
Right.
When I did the pyramid. So it's like how street basketball is confused with show basketball right now, right? What Set Free is, he's smart, he know the wording. So you can see on some of his interviews or whatever, he'll say, creator of the mixtape tour, right?
Okay.
He's not lying. He's not lying. He
Okay.
was the one who was the man behind the soundtrack. But when it comes to that formation of that Voltron, I say this being humble. That's me. You
Okay.
understand? That's me. So people get it confused and wonder, well, this story is out there. Somebody got to be telling a lie. You understand?
Right.
His
Right.
contributions is incredible. Because
Right.
think about it, he brought that soundtrack to street basketball with And1 X, Y, and Z. He Set Free is the soundtrack of the mixtape tour. Yes, he is.
Got it.
No question about that.
Got
No,
you.
you can't put. What you gonna do with what you gonna do with the butter if you don't got the bread? We was the bread, and one was the
Right.
butter. I gave him the
Okay.
bread to put the butter on. You feel me?
Right. Now I get
Period.
it. And I don't mean to cut you off, but we running short on the time.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
want to shout Mousy out. Mousy's in the building. And Mouse,
My bro.
yo, as usual, you come in late, you hear all the good things about you. You miss everything that Main Event said. You know, he said nothing but positive things about you. And you know,
I gotta say
you
this.
missed the go ahead, go ahead.
Al, not to cut you off, because we don't have time. Look, Mousy got on paper future NBA players, right? In his car. We're on the New Jersey Turnpike. Mouse doing about 100. State trooper pulls us over. Mouse says, can you explain why you guys go? Man, I got future NBA players in this car. The state trooper says, well, the way you're going, if you get into an accident, they won't be in the future in the NBA. You know, so that's a crazy story. And you know what's crazy, Al? Yo, I cannot tell you one time that me and this guy was in a club. Mousy thing was, listen, I'm going to give y'all the bread.
Right.
I'm not going to Grant's Tomb. I'm not going to Club 2000. You know, big up to the homie that just came home. Yo, I'm not going to Harlem Nights. But he would take us and he'd be there to pick us up. And this last thing I'm going to tell you about Mouse, man, because I love the guy. We had a crazy relationship. And Mouse would be like, yo, just take my car, man. So this one day he had it was something wrong with his front end to make this kind of click noise when I turn the corner. So he gave me some bread to get the car fixed. So I'm in Jersey. Got the car fixed, had some extra money. So what I did was I had my man put 4 EV12s. I had the gooseneck joint in there. So I pulls up on the block and Mouse coming out the building, but I'm outside the car and Mouse is like, yo, whoever got that music on like that, yo, I don't like that because that draws unnecessary attention. You know, Mouse is in the neighborhood. Mouse known to get a neighborhood CPR. I'm gonna just say that, right? So boom, Mouse comes out and he like, yo. He said, yo, man, yo, that's my car? It was the Benz. He was like, oh my God, bro. Yo, he was so mad at me. Check out how mad he was. Yo, he took that car and he went and bought an old school brown Astro van with picnic seats in the back of it, yo. True story. Am I lying about? Yo, he was mad at me, man.
Yo, we got like 1:49 seconds. I just want to let everybody know that tomorrow I'll be back here 7 o'clock. I got the Futures coming on, man, tomorrow.
Ooh.
And you know, that's gonna be real crazy. And you know, again, you know, when I come back up north, you know, I'm gonna get with you. I still need that new interview because I was looking at the interview we did last time and it came out a little dark. So once again, Main Event, thank you. You know,
we're gonna do a part 2, Al. We're gonna do a part 2. We're gonna do an hour on y'all. We're gonna do an hour on mine because we got some. We ain't even touched the tip of the iceberg yet, but I got something for you, man. Yo, I love you.
Okay.
I thank you for the opportunity, man.
No doubt, no doubt. So thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, sir.
Salud.
And don't forget, I'm here tomorrow with my main man, The Future. Once again, Al Cash, Tango and Cash Show. Thanks for tuning in.